there is only despair. I'm not alone. I have friends.
Kia ora guys, Jimmy Games NZ here, and we are playing some Final Fantasy Dissidia. Now this is the beta. Last week has been beta week for a lot of games on the PS4, or also on the Xbox as well, but obviously I've been playing it on the PS4, and we're going to do my first impressions of the beta of Dissidia. Now the game's looking very pretty. If you're a Final Fantasy fan, this is definitely the game for you, but fighting style of this game. Now, I'd never played any of the PSP games, so this is the first style of this game that I'm playing with the Dissidias. But yeah, as I was saying, the game looks great. It does have all that Final Fantasy-esque, like the summons that come out, which look pretty boss. This is actually my first match. Playing as Squall Leonhardt from Final Fantasy VIII. He's one of my favorite characters from the series. Final Fantasy 7 and 8 were my favorite of the Final Fantasies, and playing I didn't play as too many of the characters because obviously it's only beta, so they had a lot of the heroes but none of the villains available. I like Squall. I liked how quick he is, and I think he ended up becoming like part of my favorite from the group. The beta had a lot to offer. They had a lot of the different summons from the Final Fantasy series, a lot of the favorites, though not from the games themselves, so they're specific to Dissidia, so they're redesigned. They look great. They look awesome. This is me dealing with Leviathan for the first time and just trying to see how he dealt with in the field. In terms of the gameplay for the game, it's not... I don't find it very technical in terms of a fighter. Compared to, like, say, Street Fighter or Dragon Ball Z fighters. Or even Tekken, like this seems very simple. The match, it's quite like a button masher. A lot of the moves are left, right, up or down, and then you can kind of chain the combos together. There's 3 different styles. There's one with playing as Cloud here. He plays as a Vanguard, so he's kind of like the tank. Very slow but powerful, as you can see, long smashing strokes. And then as I was playing with Squall before, that was an assassin character, so a lot of quick but a tad bit weaker. And then I forgot the last one, but it's kind of the mage one, pretty much the faraway sniper, which are pretty cool, but they're useless at close range. So basically, the idea, it's 3-on-3. It's supposed to be strategic, but I haven't found too much strategy with the game just yet. Again, this is early days, and it was only the beta, and I was only playing a few of the characters and just kind of getting used to them. Also learning them for the first time. I didn't know Cloud's moves as I was playing this, but he's pretty boss. Also with the summons, I wasn't quite sure what kind of like how much damage they actually did. Like, I'd never found them too much trouble while they're on while they're in play. They were just kind of in the way, and a lot of the times when I won a battle or if I lost, I wasn't too sure why. Like, I just kind of kept hammering, and that one was quite obvious because I defeated somebody, but I didn't quite know why I had defeated. Like, how did I win from just defeating one person? Am I supposed to knock them all out? And the different game modes, it was kind of like a capture the flag, where they have these 2 domes on each side, and you have to like destroy their crystal on the other end. Now, if you're in their dome destroying their crystal on your own, all they have to do is get into the dome, which causes a shield to stop you from causing any damage, which kind of forces you to leave, which is interesting enough. But then you kind of have to like leave and try and draw them out. So the idea is, but if they're in the dome, you can easily bust them out right away and send them flying with that anime one-hit style kind of thing. So it was interesting, but a lot of the times if I lost a match, it was outside of my control, or maybe I wasn't paying attention enough to actually move to see what was going on. This match in particular was actually quite easy, but I think the other guys were actually quite stupid. Maybe new to the game and didn't know what was going on. Jet from Final Fantasy X, he's one of my favorite characters. Zidane from Final Fantasy IX, he was very cool to play, an assassin character. He was very quick, but he was more of an air combos, kind of a juggling type of character. So a lot of his moves worked better up in the air. So this was my first time playing as him and trying to get used to it. A lot of his moves cause a lot of his opponents to end up in the air, where you can combo it, and I guess with other characters you can combo them together. So if Zidane launches them up in the air, other characters can carry on that combo set. So he was very cool to play, very awesome. And I like how all the characters, how they look. They all look awesome. Real core to the Final Fantasy games, and also the updates of previous Final Fantasy characters from past console games. It's really cool to see. It's awesome. Lightning was cool to play, but there was something like, for some reason you could again still learning the game, but as I was using her, she could use her melee attacks to start off with, and then if she got enough mana, or she changed her moves to like magic and stuff, and I found it really annoying, especially if I wanted to come in with just physical attacks. Again, if you get those crystals during play, that actually amps up your ability to summon, and yeah. So but I wasn't. It didn't make too much of a difference having them on the field. Not that I noticed anyway. I'm sure they did, and maybe I just didn't keep count of the numbers. But having them didn't matter. I still like, oh yes, I managed to summon them, and then I just go back to attacking. A lot of people are saying with this game that it has that it's going to be used in a lot of fighting tournaments. I've had a few conversations with a few people. Wondering if they're kind of promoting this game to enter fighting tournaments. I don't think it yet has that kind of like draw. I don't think it's as strategic as the game's kind of leading off to be, in my opinion. So it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of does work. So it's going to be interesting. But as time kind of went on, and then I was kind of playing around with the characters, I found that the Squall was more of my seemed to be the character I leant towards. He seemed to be the one that I like to use. I thought this was a good example of I was really trying an assassin versus a vanguard, so obviously Squall versus Cloud, and this guy that I was fighting against, he had been playing for a bit, so he had unlocked a few of the moves that I hadn't seen before. So I was trying to be more strategic with the character. Assassins are a lot more weaker than the vanguards, and as you can see there, even though I was blocking, I was still getting smashed back. But I thought I had a bit of a... So I was just trying to figure out the range of this character, of Squall versus Cloud. And because I played as Cloud, I knew his moves, so then I kind of figured out I could beat him with speed, and I thought there was a good example right here that I'm not stronger than him, so I have to try and outsmart him, and I thought this was great. He still managed to give me, he still managed to incapacitate me, but I thought this was a bit of a, like, I got you bitch kind of moment. And, like, I had him on the ropes. It seemed like he kind of panicked there, and then he was using all the special moves that actually knocked me out. But I thought that was a great example of, I almost got you, I almost got you. And, going on to the summons as well, I found that, the beta pretty much had all the summons available, which I thought was great. But I felt like I almost saw everything I needed to in the beta, and I didn't need to see any more. Like, we got 25 characters. Oh no, 25? There was quite a few characters to play through. It was most of the heroes. We didn't get to play as any of the villains, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's if you had to, like, I know there's a lot of people out there that only pick one game at a time, and if Final Fantasy Dissidia comes out at the same time as Dragon Ball Z, and if I had to pick out of the two, I'd be picking Dragon Ball Z, because I love both franchises just as much. A lot of my childhood came from that stuff, but if I was only to pick one, I'd be going with Dragon Ball, and then eventually with Final Fantasy. Like, I'm sure I'd get them both, but if in terms of priority, it'd definitely be Dragon Ball. And then we've got Monster Hunter and Metal Gear Survive coming up, which I'm actually going to do a Metal Gear Survive video. I managed to give the beta a shot with Waffle Ninja Davey, and that's going to be real interesting. I'm going to check that up next. It's surprisingly good, but we'll talk about that then. In this match here, a lot of, as kind of time went on, I started to get used to the game, then finding that I was being paired up with a lot more experienced players. A lot more people were doing blocks and figuring out, and I learned a new move with Squall, and I managed to give it a shot here, and managed to juggle him up in the air, which was really cool. And because that's a move from the game itself, I was quite happy with that. Again, summoning Odin, and didn't quite know what the hell he was doing. He just kind of like changes the field and Yeah. But it was cool because this character, with the person I was fighting, we both seemed to be, we had been in the game enough now. We were dodging, blocking, and it just seemed a bit cooler, a bit more of a challenging fight. And I was actually enjoying it. I was like, finally, there's a bit of experience going on here. It's not just a hack and slash. There's some blocking going on. There's some challenging. Jet is a vanguard as well, I believe, and Squall is an assassin. So there was a classic like. Who's faster, who's stronger, and had a good match against this dude who was playing as Jet, and we were passing blows back and forward, and then we just won, which was kind of annoying because I didn't have any control on it, and I was having this awesome match with this other dude, and then it was just victory. So I was a tad bit disappointed in that loss because I was having so much fun, but hey, that's, I guess, just how it goes. But guys, I'm going to leave it there. Final Fantasy Dissidia is due out on the 26th. The first here in New Zealand. So far it's looking interesting, it's looking great, but thanks for watching the video, thanks for watching to the end, and I would like to thank 2 new subscribers to the channel, Was48 and Ortail. Thank you for all your support, it's awesome to see you guys. It's great to have that support from you guys, it helps a lot, it does, it actually does. But thanks for watching, my name's Jimmy Games, I'll see you next time, peace!